familia, no time for remorse. Un soldado por mi vida, agárrate un día, órale, mira. El Chicano Pancho Villa, lead the people in a movie, good receiver, spirits high. It's a hell on earth, I'm flying into the sky.
It's for a fact that most rappers are fake up in this industry. Bitch, you catch me on the street with a 4-5 on my waistline. I got no time, I got to get on the grind. Porque es todo lo que quiero en esta vida. Chopping the white up on the esquina, you know my morenita. Es todo lo que quiero, man. This shit lock and loaded. Getting kinda cocky, spit slow like Rocky. Haters on them job me, but can't stop me, that's on the block. Nigga, I never hesitate to move out.
You can't come close to us at all. Worth a billion bucks. Y'all cannot fuck with us. We brought down to fuck you up. Cause y'all can't come close to us. All those close to us.
Stand up, guy, put your hands up high. Pass me the bleezy, it's easy to get high. I mean, I smoke a blunt and I'm flying in the sky. But ask me what I want and I slowly reply. Man, I don't really know. Pass the dro and be quiet. I'm on the street, rhyme, spit, dro with Hennessy died. Menace to society, providing effects. With a flow so wild, hoes riding my sand.
Spitting nothing but la neta, getting high like a cometa, flipping shit like a marometa. Little ex, Roro, cheesy, viving la vida chueca. Now you can't fuck with me, a motherfucking genius for eternity. Breaking the butt, puffing the tree. I rate my daddy's truck all my life growing up. Garland, Texas, throwing up, stay screwed up. Count so much money, fucking call me calculator. Separator from the effect through the fucking equator. Y'all cannot fuck with us at all. Past the cannabis, y'all can't come close to us at all. Worth a billion bucks. Y'all cannot fuck with us. We brought down to fuck you up. Cause y'all can't come close to us. Ride or die, all those close to us.
I come from a part of town, the hottest niggas hardly fam. And artists is modest, but still I'm chopping them down. For those lost in the ground, I pull out a little crown. For my focus in the system, God is always watching down. Keep your head up, we ain't fed up. Dropping heat like two Berettas. This the introduction, bitch. If you never met us, Dallas to Fort Worth. Eggs, roll and cheese, leaving mark ass niggas on they motherfucking knees, ho.
Y'all cannot fuck with us at all. Past the cannabis, y'all can't come close to us. Right up there, all those close to us.
What's up, universe? That track right there is called Can't Come Close. Catch that on my SoundCloud. That it's me, my cousin who used to go by Cheese, and a homeboy who I ain't seen in years that goes by Roro, aka Federal. Check that shit out on my SoundCloud. Today, the strain of the day, gelato, and also some Skittles, indica. So I had a request last week on my comments from a subscriber on what I should talk about today, and I liked it. It was talking about my greatest moments of my life. So the first thing that came to my head was the birth of my son. It was an incredible, scary evening. If it was from day, turning to night, turning to morning. Labor had to be induced. He came late, right? It was like a week or two late. Born on Independence Day. Due like June something. And I was afraid. I was so afraid of an epidural because I heard all these horror stories there. When they're putting the epidural, if you twitch or some shit, you could be paralyzed. So I didn't want her to get it, but you know, when she was going through it, she was like, "Fuck it, I need that shit." I understand. I was there. It seemed fucking. I can't imagine the type of pain that women go through during labor. I can't imagine. But our son ended up turning around. So at one point they said, "Now we're gonna have to do a C-section." Interestingly enough, before that, me and her mom were kind of like going back and forth on who should be in the delivery room, right? And I was like, nah, I need to be in there. And she was like, nah, that's my daughter. I need to be in there. And I guess God was like, well, fuck it. None of y'all are going to be in there because they're going to do a C-section. So he kind of made the decision for us in my eyes. I was so scared during that time, too, during the C-section. You know, they didn't let us in there. I had to leave the hospital room. I remember going outside to the stairs, praying that God kept them both safe. Like, I was worried about both of them. And then finally, 7 minutes till 7, on the 7th month of the year, he came out. And I remember they showed him to me, and I was holding him, and I remember, but the way he looked at me, and I looked in his eyes, the way he looked in my eyes was like, oh, okay, this is the guy that I've been hearing all this time. Because, you know, they say babies can hear your voices when they're in the belly and all that stuff. And it was incredible, man. It was totally incredible. Very hard to explain. But that's probably my greatest moment. Another great moment. Let's see. When I got a Super Nintendo as a kid. Yeah, that was fire. And then also when I got, whenever the Power Rangers movie came out, the Ooze one, when they're all sipping lean and stuff. I got all the ninja versions of the Power Rangers. They're all like separated in different wrappings. That was amazing. Finding out that my son could do the Rubik's Cube. And he does it fast. And I cannot. That was amazing. Another great moment in my life is seeing, I guess when my parents got divorced. Because then they were able to become friends and they were able to be nice around my son together. And so I remember one time when they were still together, my son was there, like they were almost going to fight. And I was like, seriously, y'all going to fight in front of my son, your grandson? But it took us leaving the house. It took me and my sister leaving the house for them to do the divorce. And I think that was the best thing that happened to them. But it was good because then they, you know, they were finally free from each other, I guess. And they've been more friendly than they ever have that I've witnessed in my life since they've divorced. So that's dope. Let's see. Another great moment was the first time I performed. So the first time I performed was in front of my family, and my cousins paid me to perform, so I did it. It was like an outside party thing, right? And then after that, I think the other time I performed rap was at high school, for the Cinco de Mayo thing. They let me do a song my sophomore year, as well as my junior year. So both of those years I performed in front of the school at the Cinco de Mayo thing, and it was in front of everybody. And I got so much respect from that at school that at that I was like, man, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life, you know. And of course I had to take a break. You know, life comes at you fast. You got to work. You know, if you have a kid, you got to work full time. Then I'm trying to go to school too. Another good thing, another great, when I got my associate's degree in science. It took me fucking 11 years or some shit. But that was amazing. Let's see, what else? Positive shit, man. It's so crazy because sometimes it's hard to think about positive shit when you focus so much on traumatic, negative experiences. And that's why I'm glad that this subscriber, shout out to you, asked me to do some positive, my greatest memories. So let's think of another one. I guess one that isn't so like great, like it's not a good thing, is but it was fun for me. It was my first menage a trois, boy. And not everybody gets one of those. Oh, going to Hawaii. I went to Hawaii twice as a kid, as a teenager, because my uncle's in the Marines. And I got lucky enough to go. The first time I went, I snorkeled. And that was an amazing experience. I remember, like, you know, you had to go over the coral, you had to get to the deep part. And I saw a turtle. And then I saw some fucking Caucasians, no offense, trying to fuck with the turtle. And in the thing they said, don't fuck with any wildlife. But it was beautiful. Blue water. Like fucking Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? And another good time, another great memory was when I went to California, Los Angeles one time as a teenager. And when I witnessed Venice Beach, and I saw how free people were, smoking weed, spray painting walls and shit, I was like, wow, this is something else. Coming from Texas, hence the hat. Actually, I don't know if that's a Mexican hat or a Texas hat. But, you know, I'm in the red state, you know, it's not as easy to just go around smoking and shit, like, especially all the close calls I had with the laws. They definitely, when I came up, they treated it here like it was something serious. And I was even, because I was like 15 or 16, maybe 17, and I was already fiending for bud. I didn't take nothing with me. So luckily I found this shop on Venice, and I bought a lollipop. It was a weed lollipop, and that whole hit. Okay. That's another great, let's see. Let me think about more positive shit, all right? And then for right now, let me discuss some current events. Yesterday, 5 planets went into retrograde. So y'all need to be careful out there. Keep your frequencies high. Vibrate as high as possible. 5 planets, let me see. And also I found out that supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but that December 21st, 2012 was the Julian calendar end of the Mayan calendar. But we're actually, if we use the Gregorian calendar, it's June 21st, 2012. Which if you're watching this today, which I'm a day late, this is the Friday podcast, I'm doing it Saturday morning, my apologies. But that would be tomorrow. So I forgot all those things. I just started commenting on Facebook, getting distracted. Oh yeah, some good news. Animorphs movie in development. I used to read those books. I used to watch the show. I even had a PC game that was so fucking slow, but you could turn into the animal and play. So that's kind of exciting. Okay, so Thursday, June 18th, 2020. 5 retrograde planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Pluto. The planets one by one are turning retrograde, activating all kinds of karmic events, according to this meme. For the next days, please remain calm, avoid fights, drive safely, be careful when you sign legal documents. Be extra careful until June 26th. So it seems like something's happening in the universe. We'll see what happens. Just try to stay positive, you know. I'm actually going through a personal change right now. I'm deciding on cutting back on cannabis to save money. So we'll see how that goes. Although I did just find out that there's a study that cannabis can prevent coronavirus, the spread of it. So if anybody wants to give me some, you know, I'll take it. I'm just trying to buy less because until I start making this money on a podcast or some shit, or from my new music that's coming out soon, entitled, the album's gonna be called Dark Days, Bright Nights. I got 3 tracks recorded already. Fire. Yeah, hopefully I'll start making money on that soon. But the most important thing is that I love it. And I feel better about this music than I've ever made before. There's no misogynistic shit. There's nothing that, I used to just rap about whatever. I used to rap about the shit that I thought that everybody wanted to hear. So it was a lot of sex stuff. But now, there's a time and a place for that. And I got those songs that I recorded on my SoundCloud, like Mesmerized and That Bomb Got Me in Another World. But I guess I gotta focus on my music now, on what I actually live. And I've been celibate for a minute, like years. Whether that's it was my decision. It was my decision. I was kind of shell shocked. I had PTSD from all the court drama with my son's mom. Me and her are at peace now, and I think one of my greatest moments too was when she got married, because I was happy for her. She met somebody that maybe they were meant to be together. And also when they had a son to give my son a brother, which was pretty dope. One day I would like to have more kids, but right now I can't afford it because the world's kind of crazy. I do have faith that it will get better. So one day I would like to have more kids. That'd be fine. Woo! First time I rapped, great memory. First time I wrote that flow in middle school, and then I showed it to my friend, and he's like, "Oh shit, you rap?" And I was like, "I guess." And then he whenever he took me to the studio, that was his house. It was not really a studio; it was a computer with headphones and a microphone. But first time I recorded a song, first time I got positive feedback from my family members that were older than me. Amazing experience. When I did a show at Wichita Falls in front of a predominantly melanated, aka black audience, and they wanted an encore, and I was signing autographs and taking pictures. It was an amazing experience, beautiful. Introducing my son to Star Wars was pretty cool. I gotta thank Angry Birds for that, because when Angry Birds was at its top before they made the weird movies, they came out with Angry Birds Star Wars, and that was like, I started explaining to him, okay, this is Luke, that's Darth Vader, that's his dad, and then eventually I got him into watching the movies, and that was really amazing. I got him to watch, the old school ones, the first 3 that that I grew up with. The original trilogy, but then I also showed them the prequels, which are way better than the new ones, the new trilogy. I think Disney fucked that shit up. I tried, but there's so many flaws. Like Chewbacca should have cried. There's so much bullshit. Shout out to Disney too, because they just got some the former vice president just got locked up for child pornography and shit like that, and other employees. That's positive. It's negative for the people that didn't know this shit was going on, and they try to say, "Oh no, that's crazy. Nobody would do that shit. I don't want to believe that shit." But I've been trying to tell them, and here's the proof in the pudding. They're getting caught, and that's positive. Something to be happy about, Last week I was feeling real negative. And then I had some friends show me this documentary about conspiracy documentary about what's going on with politics and shit, and it actually made me feel better. I immediately had to share it with my family members and a few friends that I knew would be more open to understanding new information. So many people are so closed off to change that they will not accept it no matter how you offer it, no matter if you give them numbers or books or anything. It's cognitive dissonance. And I understand that, you know, but like I say, like I learned from the fucking Ninja Turtles, from Master Splinter, the only constant is change. Change is the only constant. Chris Chaos in the building, baby. And it's hard. Change is hard. I hate change, especially when it comes to like my personal life and shit, like my schedule, my lunch schedule, like just any little thing. I hate it, but it is part of life. Change. Who knows how this new school year is gonna be? You know, I think it's negative that a lot of kids aren't gonna be really socializing, and they're not gonna be building their immunity. But at the same time, I'm not a scientist, so if it's better for them to stay at home, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into all that shit right now. I do have my personal beliefs, and they've been swapped back and forth. At the beginning, I believed one thing, then I saw some information that made me believe something else. Then I was presented with other information that made me believe something else. And I could still be wrong, but the key is to keep an open mind. If you have a closed mind, you can't learn shit, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all can't hear that radio in the restroom, I hope not. So, let's see. Greatest moments. I feel like The Simpsons were a big part of my life. I watched them since they were, they came out when I was born, like in '89. I've been watching them my entire existence, right? And my dad used to give me these omnibus, thick, Simpsons Spanish comic books from Mexico. I love those. That was great. I wish I never would have sold them. Also, when he used to give me Calvin and Hobbes books, that was amazing. I love those. Another great moment was when my mom saved my life. I talked about that one time when she had to dive in and shit in the pool with her pager, her purple clear pager. This is Skittles. This is an indica. There's like no CBD in this shit. I don't understand that, but it's fire though. I'm trying to stretch out everything. You know, the last time I had to quit was because I was trying to get a job when my son was born. And I got, I failed the test at Target. And then I knew, I was like, I gotta quit. I have to quit. And it wasn't hard. Like, I was around two of my best cousins, my best friend cousins. And they were smoking a blunt. And I remember distinctly not even fiending. Like, I didn't want it. I was like, no, I'm good, bro. I gotta get a job. That was a solid, that was when my son was born. He's about to be 12. That was about 11 years ago. Shit, about 12 years ago. I've been smoking for like 15 years, I guess. So it would be harder for me now. And I even thought about changing the name of the podcast if I stop smoking, but I don't think I'll stop smoking. I think I'm just gonna cut back until I get more. Hopefully this fucking stimulus check comes in. Bro, I really want to start making money on this podcast. But if I don't, it's all good because I'm doing it for another reason. It's not just to get paid. Really, I started this for therapy and maybe to help other people. And music, yeah, when I was a kid, I wanted to be famous. There was even a point in my life where I was like, man, fuck it, I'm gonna sell my soul to the devil. And my uncle, Psycho V, and my cousin Sleepy J, bro, they were like, nah, bro, it's not worth it. And I love them for that, man. Those two dudes, there's a lot of people I meet in my life that I feel like, yo, this shit's for a reason, son. Like, clicking up with the Odd Squad, when we made our Odd Pod, you know, like I avoided, like I knew Vino from years ago, but I was so antisocial for such a long time. Like, I was like, nah, I don't want to. And I would just be negative on Facebook, and he would say, man, you know, you need to come kick it. You need to come talk about it. Finally, my cousin had to like trick me. He's like, hey, man, we got some hash. Come through. I was in PJs and shit. I was like, fuck it. Finally, I met this dude again from like a long time ago. And we fucking click. And now we make the Odd Pod, and this dude's like my fucking shaman. So shout out to Vino. Shout out to Romo. Shout out to my cuz, Ed. We had him one time on the podcast, on the Odd Pod. Hopefully we'll get him on again. Some of my greatest moments are also some of my conversations with my sister. We're both kind of waking up, you know. Some of my other favorite things are when my mom and dad start to realize some of the things that we're saying aren't all crazy bullshit, you know. One time when my uncle was like, he didn't believe me when I was talking about HAARP, HAARP, government, I don't know what it stands for, but it's the government weather modifier, technology for modification of weather, you know. And he told me straight up he didn't believe it until he saw it on PBS, some kids talking about it. And I was like, that's what it took, bro. You know, I'm just happy that you know. And when I first got into Levine's, let's talk about Levine's, man. I even last night I had a fucking dream about working at Levine's, and I thought I wasn't gonna have dreams no more because I got this sign from there that it's Levine's is closed, right? I spent 4 years there. And I guess I went through so much change, it had such a major impact on me. But at Levine's, I learned about the Boule, the Hip Hop Illuminati, from my homeboy Knowledge 405. Shout out to him and King Solomon. We did a track together, me and them, when they were group 832, and that's one of my favorite tracks too that I made with them. That might have to play that one next time too. Vicariously. I forgot how it goes, but that's one of my favorite tracks right there for sure. Greatest moments, man. First time kissing, first time busting a nut, I guess. First time making love. When my dad gave me one of my first times drinking with my dad in Mexico with his uncle. His uncle ended up getting shot in Mexico like years ago. He had a shop, and some dudes tried to rob him, and you know they shot him, they killed him, and it destroyed my father. That was his father figure, because my dad's dad left him and his family, you know, when my dad was young. So my dad's uncle was like his father figure, and he loved him. And I regret not going to Mexico for that funeral. I do regret that. That's a regret. I was young, and I had a family from the other side over here, and I wanted to get fucked up, you know. I hope my dad forgives me for that. Greatest moments. My cousin has some kind of gray African parrot, right? And one time she bit me, and she would not let go. But now she lets me pet her, so that's pretty cool. The first time I got to pet her, they're like, "What? She let you pet her?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm an animal whisperer." I also pet a mouse, a field mouse, the other day. My mom was disgusted, and my cousin Sleepy J said I smoked too much weed, but I thought something was wrong. It was a cute ass little mouse in the grass, right? And it wasn't moving. And it looked just like a rabbit. I used to have a rabbit. which I didn't buy. My son's mom, which it happened for a reason, because the rabbit was beautiful and I loved it. But she bought him a rabbit and she was like, "Hey, can we keep it at your house?" I was like, "I guess." But that was like the second time, because before I had bought another rabbit. My son was a baby, and he used to feed him grass. But that rabbit passed away, and so did this other rabbit. I left her outside just for a little bit, and she died. So that was kind of sad. Great moments. Every day, waking up alive, shit. When I see my son, when he, you know, he lives with his mom mostly, which can be tough. But when you think about other situations, you know, it could always be worse. Shout out to Fathers for Equal Rights. They were pro bono lawyers in downtown Dallas that really helped me out when I was going through the court process, putting myself on child support to get more rights. You know, I think I'm always back and forth whether things go happen for a reason or if it's random, and I'm back on the side of destiny. The Last Kingdom. You can catch that shit on Netflix. The Last Kingdom. This is just one of the books. But one of the things that the main character says is destiny is all. He's a Viking. And that's one of my sayings, you know, that I'm going to start saying that. Just like I learned from Splinter, change is constant. Constant is change. Destiny is all. And, you know, that just makes sense. Another great moment. Let's see. Oh, the 2012 series of the Ninja Turtles. Bruh. Amazing. Amazing. Completely amazing. The whole series. Rediscovering Ninja Turtle comic book. When I was in college, I took a class at Eastfield College called History of Comics. And it was the first year that class was introduced and was available. And it was the history of comics in the United States and shit. And at one point, there was just a slide. And it had the Ninja Turtles, and that sparked like, oh shit. Because, you know, when I was a kid, I liked the 80s cartoon. And of course, the 90s movies. And I remember going to see the 2007 animated movie with at the time, she was my girlfriend. And we hooked up in that theater. We didn't even watch the movie. Later on, I went back and watched the 2007 movie. It was actually pretty good. But rediscovering the comics, that was amazing because of that teacher, that professor. I wish I could remember his name. And then I started looking in, and then that's when I discovered that there was an ongoing series that had just started. And it's still going on. It's like on issue 104 now. It's the one that introduced Janica, the female Ninja Turtle, in an amazing way. And so those comic books are like a big part of me. That's why I learned change is constant. You know? A great moment. Learn how to ride a bike. I remember my dad tried to teach me, right? And he would get frustrated and I couldn't learn. Then one day, it was a Sunday, and we were in an upstairs apartment. And I was riding my little bike on, the two wheels on the carpet in the hallway. And I finally balanced. And from then on, I knew how to ride my bike, and I was very proud of myself at that time. Let's see. Great moments. Working as a teacher assistant is pretty amazing. Having a positive impact on students that don't necessarily have as much positive reinforcement in their personal lives. It's a feeling I don't know how to explain. I guess it's kind of like being a dad, but for more than one, it takes a village, they say. Damn, I'm trying to think of more great moments. Every time my son turns another age, it's amazing. I love it. It sucks that it's going by so fast, but happy that he's alive. You know, every day is a blessing. Every day we're lucky to be here, because shit, you know, anything can happen. Fucking airplane can crash into a house when you're sleeping. So just waking up, even if it's a hard fucking day, even if you're broke, sober, sad, tired, depressed, at least you're awake. For some people, they're like, nah, fuck that, but because who knows what's on the other side? We can only guess. So maybe this is the best option. I guess the times where I almost died, I used to think of those as horrible memories. Like this one time we were driving to Missouri and it was like snowing and icy and shit, and I was asleep in the back, and I woke up and the car was like on the side and my glasses were missing and it was snow, and my grandpa and my uncle were out there talking to like a cop, and I like walked out of the sunroof, couldn't find my glasses and shit. And I was mad that whole trip because I couldn't see for shit. But I think me being asleep and not wearing a seatbelt kind of saved me. Because my body was like, you know, when you're asleep, you're not stiff and shit. So surviving that was dope. Surviving those drunken driving incidents. Not having to go to jail. One time I went to jail for something I was falsely accused of, and my parents got me out. Getting out of jail is a feeling that only those who have been in it understand. I remember being in there, fucking sleeping, and I had a dream that I got out, and I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm still in this bitch. What else? You know, I don't remember it, but from the way it's described, I feel like when my sister was born, I was like super happy. I used to love to help. You know, I love being a big brother. I wasn't the greatest big brother for a long time. But having a sister is dope. Having a sibling is dope, and that's why I'm glad that my son's mom and her husband had a couple kids for my son to have siblings. Because at the current moment, I'm not really financially ready. Maybe one day. It would be nice. Greatest moments. First time getting blazed. I talked about that, I think, on my first episode. That feeling of being free. Of no worries, that feeling of clear mind, just being able to flow for hours, you know, that was amazing. A lot of times that I spent with my former crime partners that we ended up falling out in high school. We had some good times. We were in some quinceañeras together. We went to Missouri, and we're in Del Rio. We were in a quinceañera, and he wanted me to meet my family in Missouri too. We were doing like yayo on the trip up there and shit. Crazy times, man. Each time I did mushrooms was amazing. Each time I did acid was amazing. When my sister got a cat, that was we're really close to my nephew. Yeah, animals are trippy, bro. The way they got like spirits and shit. I mean, who knows the truth about animals? Like what they, I mean, like if you think about reincarnation, if we were reincarnating, why the fuck weren't they? I didn't watch the movie, but there's a movie about a dog that reoccurs, that keeps living his life, but as a different dog and shit. I mean, you know, that'd be crazy. Shit, the other day I just found out some cardinals live in a tree next to my house. That was a fucking dope ass thing, and I saw the hummingbird. Just little things sometimes can be some of the greatest moments. It isn't always the biggest moments. Of course, some of the biggest moments are also the greatest moments, but sometimes small moments. When I pet that mouse and he let me pet it, I tried to feed it some fucking string cheese, like in the cartoons, but he wouldn't eat it. We had 4 kittens that were born in our backyard, and one of them still comes and he lets me pet him and shit. I mean, that cat is cool. His name is Leo. And then there was a time where he brought another cat to us, which we named Leia because it looked just like him, but she was a girl and we didn't know where she came from. What else? Getting into Pokemon cards again when my son was into Pokemon cards, that was fire. His stepdad gave him like a bunch of old school cards, like the old school Charizard and the Venusaur and all that shit, and then my son gave them to me. That was amazing, bro. What else? Great moments. Going to Mexico is always fun. I'm scared to go now, but when we used to go all the time every summer and shit, that was fire. Going to Missouri, St. Louis was always fun. Even when we would go to places like Del Rio and shit, when I would see their horses, at the time I wouldn't appreciate it, but now that I'm like, I got to see places that some people never see. Some people stay in one city their whole lives and never see shit, you know? And I was lucky enough, even if I never fucking travel again, I was lucky enough to see Hawaii twice, California. I even got to go to, we went to New York, but I don't really remember it that much for a wedding. We passed through New York, went to New Hampshire. I got to be at Toys R Us before they closed. I had some good times at Toys R Us with my son. We wouldn't even buy shit because it was so expensive, but just walking around and, you know, that was a good experience. Fucking Blockbuster, missed that shit. That was good times. What else closed since then? Circuit City. I didn't really have that much experience. I mean, I do remember going there, and it was pretty cool, I guess. Going to the Pulga, to Trader's Village, I had some cool experience selling CDs, going with cousins and shit. That was fun. The point in my life where I became shy, you know, and antisocial. And I guess it was after I went through all the near-death experiences and breaking up with my son's mom and all that shit. But at the same time, it was easy for me to get on stage in front of strangers and perform. It seemed pretty easy, as long as I knew the words and shit. And I remember even my first performance at the school, when I was at school. Because each time I would smoke, right? But when I was at the school, I snuck out to the parking lot, hit a bowl. And I guess I don't know how I hid it in my pocket or phone case or something, or my glasses case or something. But I took a hit, got on stage, and just, it was amazing. It was totally amazing. Let's see what I find out that my son could draw and that he was animating. Finding out that my son could skateboard and that he enjoyed it and that he enjoyed playing basketball and that he's not as lazy as I was when I was his age. That was great. And that was really recently. I guess we could say my first girlfriend was a great memory. I'm not sure. I think it was in 3rd grade. This girl named Melissa, who I talked about before, who ended up going to my middle school. And then we dated for like 5 minutes in middle school. She's like, hey, you want to be my boyfriend again? And I was like, yeah. But then it was so awkward. She was like, hey, let's just be friends. And I was like, all right. But that was my first girlfriend. Was it my first girlfriend? That was my first kiss. Yeah, I don't know. And I still remember the first time I got in trouble at school. I don't know if this is a good memory. It's funny. In kindergarten, it was the first time I got in trouble, and we were the last class on the playground waiting for our teacher to pick us up. And some kids started playing Duck, Duck, Goose, right? Where most of us were in a line waiting for the teacher. And I got picked. I got Goose. So I had to like, you know, run and play, but then I got caught. She saw me, and so I got in trouble. And that was a big deal for me. I'm like, man, I don't ever get in trouble. I still remember that shit to this fucking day. It's crazy. Now in high school, I started getting in more trouble, and I started getting more used to it and shit. But elementary, I never really got in trouble. Nor in middle school so much. High school, I started switching up. I wanted to fit in. You know, I wanted to get in where I fit in, and all the nerds wanted to be friends with me, but I wanted to be friends with the gangsters. Yeah. So those are some good memories. I'm sure there's plenty more, but I just can't think of them right now. Current events, you know, I talked about the planets in retrograde. They found a skeletal body near Fort Hood, but like my mom said, it's probably too soon if it was Vanessa Guillen, for her to already be a skeleton. And then I was like, yeah, you know, if they did it like on Breaking Bad, you know, they would have dissolved her body. So I don't know, they haven't decided who, you know, however they do that with science and shit, figure out who the DNA was or whoever that was. But the search continues, and hopefully those people who are guilty will be caught and dealt with. For now, I'd like to send y'all positive vibrations, frequencies, positive prayers. Try to be like the water, like Bruce Lee said, you know, just be flexible. Don't be stiff. Because life is flexible. The earth is flexible.